What is going on, comic friends? My name's Fernando. You can call me Nando, and like many of you out there that might be watching, I collect vintage comics. So this is my first one of these videos, and today I'm going to be doing a double CGC unboxing for you. So recently I got two submissions back from CGC. Both of them were economy tier, which is now vintage tier. So they're all books that were pre-1975. I'm excited to share those with you guys and show you what I got back. But first and foremost, wanted to introduce myself. This is my first one of these videos, so nice to meet you guys. But I've been doing this for about 6 years, actively collecting comics. The way this all started is my brother and I, we had a collection when we were kids back in the late 80s, early 90s. I'm in my late 30s now, and I am based in Miami. Originally, I'm from New York, and I actually lived in LA for a bit too. That all plays into this because as we go along, I might show you some books I have in my collection and tell you where I got them, how I got them, etc. But about 6 years ago, I dug up the collection that my brother and I had previously had. I was sitting in our parents' basement for about 25 years, and I found some pretty good stuff in there. I started doing some research. I got really interested in this, decided to get those books graded, and this all kind of progressed to, let's call it an obsession, because I've been doing it very actively since, and I'm pretty proud of the collection that I've developed since then. So the point of this, and hopefully throughout these videos, I'll get a chance to share some of that with you, share my collection, share my journey as a collector, and hopefully you guys will find some of that interesting. But generally, I'm somebody that collects vintage Marvel books. I'm not too into modern, not too into DC, but a lot of the major titles that I'm sure so many of you guys love is what I mostly have in my collection. I generally buy raw books. I'm not somebody that likes to buy graded. Typically, I'll clean my own books. I do very basic cleaning with just erasers and things like that. I've always had somebody to press books for me, so I send them off to get pressed, and then I submit them to get graded myself. So it's also important to note that this isn't something that I'm super public with. As you can see here, I don't really have comics hanging on my wall or anything. A lot of my friends and colleagues don't even know that I'm a comics guy, but make no mistake, I do love comics. So let's get it going. Wanted to show you some of the books that I got back recently. This first submission is a 7-book submission. Again, these were economy tiers. They're all books that were pre-1975. So we're looking at Silver Age and some early Bronze stuff. Not gonna lie, I do know the grades on these. I'm not somebody that is patient enough to wait until I actually get the box to find out the grades. As soon as I submit them, I'm pretty much checking every 2 hours in the online portal to see if there's any progress. So yeah, on my end, the surprise is spoiled, but for you guys, hopefully this is a bit more exciting. So here we are, box number 1. All right, so first book, we have Jungle Action 6, first appearance of Killmonger, in a 6.5 white pages. So love this book, love this cover. Was hoping for a bit of a higher grade on this one, but honestly it's more or less in the neighborhood that I was expecting. This book does have some flaws, but it looks like a really clean copy because of the front cover. Some of the more major issues with this are on the back cover. There's a pretty big crease along the side here. But a little bit about how I got this book. I bought this at MegaCon in Orlando, not this year, but in 2022, so last year's con. For those of you that aren't familiar, that's a big show. And generally at big shows, you're not gonna find great prices, great deals. I probably paid more than this book is worth now, considering how much values have dropped. But that's part of the game, I guess. Generally, I've done pretty well with getting a good return on my investment with books that I buy, but with this one, probably not so much. That's okay though, great book nonetheless, and very happy to have it in my collection. All right, next up, another book that I got at MegaCon, same show, same situation. But this one is a little more of an iconic book with a pretty famous cover. This is Incredible Hulk 102 in a 7.0. So nice high grade copy here. Let's call it mid to high grade. This is an FVF, but this is an older book. This is from 1968. This was the first book when they switched from Tales to Astonish back to Incredible Hulk. So of course you have this this iconic cover here, which I love, and it's a pretty clean copy overall. A bit of wear along that top edge here, but the spine is pretty clean. Edges look clean. A little bit of tanning, but not too bad. This book, I would say, I pretty much broke even on. You know, generally I try to buy books at a discount or find good deals, but again, with this particular show, this is MegaCon 2022, I was actually able to sell some of the books that I brought with me that day or that weekend. And I just put some of that cash back into these books here. So I wouldn't necessarily call it taking a hit. I think I actually did pretty well when it's all said and done. Hopefully eventually these appreciate in value anyway. Great book though. Happy to have those two in my collection. All right. Next up, we have an Avengers 62 in a 7.5. So this is the first appearance of M'Baku. This book is similar in age to the last one. It's from 1969, so late Silver Age. Pretty nice copy overall. A few flaws, nothing crazy, just some wear along that top edge again. Pretty clean spine for the most part, bit of tanning, but this is what you would expect for a book this age. And, you know, luckily, I think grading is a bit more lenient for Silver Age books. So, you know, I'm happy with these grades overall. I would say this one's probably even a little bit better than I might have expected. I thought this might come back as 7.0. So definitely happy to have that 7.5. And yeah, really cool book. Love this cover, and it's a key, nothing crazy, but you know, I'm always looking for nice copies of Silver Age books that, you know, appeal to me in some way, whether it's a key issue, a classic cover, great artwork. You know, love those Jack Kirby covers, of course. So let's see what else we have here. All right, next up, what a classic this one is. Was really excited to get this book when I initially bought it. This is an ASM 100 in a 7.5. So this is the classic anniversary issue. What an amazing black cover this is. You know, this one is one that I've been hunting for quite a while. And finally, I found a pretty nice copy that a private collector was selling. So I jumped on it, of course. But this is a pretty clean copy overall, as you can see. A few things that, you know, come to mind right away as far as flaws that might have brought this grade down a bit. There's a little bit of wear on this black here. Of course, black covers are tough to find in high grade because you see those flaws against that black, of course. A few of these printer creases, I think they're called, but I'm pretty sure you don't get docked in the grade for those because it's a manufacturing error. But very nice copy overall. Back cover looks pretty clean. When I got this book, there was a bit of dirt on the back cover, so I was able to clean some of that off myself with just you know, basic cotton pads and white erasers. And yeah, what an awesome book. Absolute classic. Very happy to finally have this one in my collection. All right, next one, also a book that I got from that same collector. This is an ASM 120 in a 9.2 high grade book right here. Super clean copy. You know, when I saw this, I immediately recognized that this was a very clean copy, great condition. Also partially a black cover there. So to find this in this high grade is pretty rare. This is one that I'd kind of been looking for a while also. And, you know, it was always a bit pricey and I was never finding, you know, that copy that looked that great. With this one, it was so well preserved. You can barely see any flaws on it. This one could have even maybe been a 9.4, but I think a 9.2 is a really great grade on this. Back cover, very clean, nice and white. This is white pages also, so you know that interior looks good. Those pages are nice and white and crisp. Awesome book. I also have 119, I think in an 8.5. So this goes great with that. On the hunt for a 121. I do have 122. I am going to be going to Tampa Bay Comic Con this weekend. So stay tuned for another video with what I find there. And 121 is definitely on the list for that show. All right, next up, last two books in this submission. These two are a bit special to me because of how I found them. And I'll give you a bit of a spoiler. These are older books. These are Silver Age books. First up, we have a Fantastic Four 57 in a 7.5. Look at that iconic Doom cover right there. Classic Jack Kirby artwork. This is such an amazing cover. One of my absolute favorites. And to me, one of the best covers in that early Fantastic Four run. I've had a few copies of this book, and the first copy I bought a year or two ago, I bought it online, didn't really see the condition well enough through pictures, ended up with a copy that I wasn't happy with as far as the condition, ended up selling it. This, on the other hand, is a really clean copy, very high grade for something this age, and yeah, that back cover looks nice and white. Cleaned this up a little bit, but it didn't need much at all when I found it. This book, as well as the next one, I got at a local show here in Miami, and there was this old school dealer there that apparently had just come into this collection of mostly Silver Age books. There was a lot of really nice Fantastic Four stuff in there. This book plus the next one I'll show you, I could not pass up on them. Immediately I recognized how great of condition they were in, and this one I just bought flat out. The next one, I did a few rounds in the show. I came back to it, and I actually ended up having to sell a couple of my own books that I brought with me that day to come up with a little extra cash to put into this next book. So this one, oh my God, what an amazing copy. Really happy to have this one. Hopefully you guys appreciate it too. But this next one, really special book, especially in this condition. Fantastic Four 33 in an 8.5. To find a book like this old in this condition is really special. I mean, this is almost a 60-year-old treasure here. This is from 1964, first appearance of Atuma. You have that partial photo cover, that gray with the other colors against it. Submariner coming out of the page practically. Love this artwork, but just a really cool book. And in this condition, I mean, this is really special here. Again, I saw this book. It caught my eye initially, but it was priced a little bit high. I paid $175 for it. The dealer wasn't coming down on that price at all. So I didn't really feel like I was getting, a great deal at the time, but I knew that this would grade high. So I did what I could to just come up with the cash and get the book. And after making it happen and getting it graded, that was, in hindsight, a very good decision. This grade pushes the value up to, I want to say, $800-900 as of now. Let's hope it stays that way considering the way values are dropping, but we're not going to talk about that. But this is such an awesome book here. Recently, I've been collecting a lot of Silver Age Fantastic Four, and this is probably the best one that I've gotten in the last, let's say, year or so. So yeah, very happy to have all these books in my collection. I was pretty selective in this submission here. At the time, I had submitted them all fast track. So, that's an extra $15 per book. That means that this submission was a little more on the expensive side, which is why I limited it to 7 books and I was selective in what I submitted. But the next one I'll show you, the next submission is a little bit different, also older books. But I'll tell you why this next submission is slightly different from this one. In any case, all great books, great additions to my collection, and I'm happy to share this with you guys. Hopefully you found this entertaining. If you like what you see, feel free to comment, like, subscribe. I'll be doing a lot more of these videos. They won't only be unboxings. I'll take you guys on my hunting adventures. I'll show you guys some of the things I do to improve condition on books and submit them. I'll show you some more of what I have in my collection. But yeah, excited to get this started. Thank you guys for joining, and I will see you again soon.